Hello there, fellow humans and possible aliens. No judgment. Welcome to a delightful journey through the wonderfully weird world of the 16 MBTI personality types. Today, we're diving into the quirks, perks, and occasional smirks that make each of us a unique flavor in the cosmic Baskin-Robbins of life. Before we start, let's get one thing straight. This video is about laughing with each other, not at each other. Because let's face it, we all have our what were they thinking moments. Yes, even you, INTJs, especially you. Whether you're an ENFP, endlessly chasing butterflies of inspiration, or an ISTJ who just wants everyone to follow the dang plan for once, there's room for all of us here. Because here's the secret sauce. Our differences don't divide us. They're the ultimate squad goals. After all, who else is going to make sure the INTP's brilliant idea gets turned into something useful? We're looking at you, ESFJs. So buckle up, grab your popcorn or your planner, or your existential dread pillow depending on your type, and let's explore why the world needs all of us to keep this beautifully chaotic ship afloat. And hey, if we poke a little fun along the way, just remember, it's all in good type. Cue dramatic camera zoom. Let's go laugh at ourselves. Ready? Set? Introverts, you may proceed when emotionally prepared. Go! ENFJs are the glitter-covered motivational posters of the personality world. They're bursting with charisma, fueled by caffeine and big dreams, and are always ready to save the day, or at least the meeting. Known for their unshakable optimism and the uncanny ability to make strangers overshare their life stories, ENFJs are a delightful mix of a life coach, a cheerleader, and a TED Talk wrapped into one. Strengths of ENFJs: charismatic, inspiring, and empathetic. ENFJs can light up a room faster than a disco ball at a 70s dance party. They're the ones making heartfelt toasts at weddings or hyping you up before your big presentation. And empathy? They've got it in spades. They'll cry during your breakup story, your victory speech, and probably that cute dog commercial. Stuss! Their inspiring nature makes them everyone's go-to person for a pep talk. Whether you're chasing a career goal, or just trying to find matching socks. Natural leaders and motivators. If leadership were an Olympic sport, ENFJs would already be on the podium giving an inspirational speech. They rally teams with their "we've got this" energy, even if this is assembling IKEA furniture. They're great at getting everyone involved, making even the quietest person feel like their voice matters. No one escapes their inclusivity web. Let's face it, they could probably sell a beach vacation to a polar bear, skilled at understanding and connecting with others. ENFJs could probably win a staring contest with your soul. They just get people. They know what you need before you do, whether it's a hug, a compliment, or a snack. This skill makes them great at dodging awkward small talk because they're already asking you about your hopes, dreams, and whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Their relationships? Deep, meaningful, and occasionally built on their ability to turn any random acquaintance into a lifelong friend. Challenges of ENFJs can neglect their own needs. ENFJs are like human vending machines for emotional support, but they often forget to refill their own snack supply. They'll organize your life, help you move, and bake cookies for your dog's birthday party. But when's the last time they took a nap? Remember, ENFJs, you can't pour from an empty cup or save the world on an empty stomach. Eat the cookie. Overly idealistic and perfectionistic ENFJs dream big, like, let's solve world hunger by Thursday big. It's adorable, but it can also lead to epic meltdowns when reality dares to rain on their parade. Their inner perfectionist loves color-coded spreadsheets, but when things don't go perfectly, cue the existential crisis. Here's the secret, ENFJs. The world doesn't need you to be perfect, it just needs you to keep being your ridiculously wonderful self. Messy hair and all. Sensitive to criticism. Criticizing an ENFJ is like booing a puppy. Why would you even do that? They take feedback to heart, and possibly their diary, spiraling into "I'm a failure" mode faster than you can say constructive criticism. Pro tip: not everyone will love you, and that's okay. Love yourself enough to let them be wrong. In summary, ENFJs are the human equivalent of a warm hug and a pep rally rolled into one. They're here to lift us up, make us laugh, and maybe guilt us into recycling. But hey, dear ENFJs, lighten up a little. You don't have to save the world before breakfast. It's okay to laugh at your quirks, take a nap, and eat pizza in your pajamas, pineapple or not. After all, the world will love you just as much when you're being delightfully imperfect, and so will you. The ENFJ, the human equivalent of a double shot of espresso with a sprinkle of glitter. You're the cheerleader of the personality world, rallying people to chase their dreams and throwing confetti, metaphorically or literally, depending on your mood, at life's possibilities. Let's break it down, shall we? But don't worry, we're keeping it light. After all, if we take this too seriously, you might get distracted halfway through. Strengths, creative, energetic, and enthusiastic creativity? You've got that in spades. Need a solution to a problem no one else can crack? You'll swoop in with a wild idea that might be crazy, but hey, it just might work. Your energy is like a toddler on their third cupcake. Whether it is starting a new hobby, ceramics, goat yoga, interpretive dance, who knows? Or planning a spontaneous road trip, you're all in, baby. Enthusiasm? Oh, it's not just a strength, it's your brand. You can make even the most mundane topic, like tax codes or grout cleaning, sound like an adventure. Great at building connections with others, people are drawn to you like moths to a flame. Or more accurately, like introverts to the one person at the party who won't make small talk about the weather. You can chat with anyone. The barista, the guy next to you in line, or your Uber driver who really needed to hear your TED Talk on why dogs should run the world. Your charm isn't fake. It's genuine, and people feel it. You're like a human magnet for friendships, and it's no wonder everyone wants to sit at your table, open-minded and optimistic. You're the person who sees a glass not just as half full, but as a vessel with unlimited potential for margaritas, and maybe a side hustle selling artisanal glasses. New ideas? You're here for them. Unconventional paths? Sign you up. A wild suggestion from your cousin about becoming a mushroom farmer? Worth considering. Your optimism is like a warm blanket for the soul. Sure, life has its challenges, but you're confident things will work out. After all, you've got grit, charm, and a Pinterest board full of dream plans. Challenges may struggle with focus or follow-through. You're a visionary, not a detail-oriented workhorse. Filing taxes, finishing a project, or committing to a 5-year plan. Snooze fest. Your motto is, start all the things. Unfortunately, the follow-up often turns into, oh look, something shiny. But hey, life's about the journey, right? So what if your journey involves 12 half-finished journals and 3 DIY projects in various states of disaster, overwhelmed by too many possibilities? If life is a buffet, you're the person piling your plate with shrimp, sushi, tacos, and chocolate cake. Because how could you possibly choose just one? Spoiler, you'll regret it later. You're a professional FOMO specialist. What if you commit to one thing and miss out on something better? Cue existential crisis. The result? Paralysis by analysis. But don't worry, when you do decide, it'll probably be awesome, or at least entertaining. Can be overly emotional or sensitive. You feel things deeply. A mildly critical email? Cue you spiraling into, am I terrible at everything mode? You're not, by the way. Your emotions are like a roller coaster. Thrilling, unpredictable, and occasionally terrifying. And just when you think you're calm, someone says, let's talk about your feelings, and bam! Waterworks. But let's be real, your sensitivity is part of your charm. Sure, you might cry during commercials, but it's because you care so dang much, and the world needs more of that. Final thoughts. Being an ENFP is like starring in your own personal rom-com adventure drama hybrid. Sure, you lose your car keys daily, and sometimes commit to more plans than there are hours in the day. But you're also the reason people believe in magic, potential, and the power of saying yes. So, embrace your quirks, laugh at your oopsies, and remember, the world's a better place because of your sparkle. Now go, start a new hobby, call a friend, or just dance like nobody's watching, even if they are. The ENTJ, the commander. If you're reading this and thinking, yes, that's me, the strategic genius, the fearless leader, the one who keeps everything from crumbling into chaos, well, congratulations, you've nailed it. But before you march into your next boardroom or family dinner with the confidence of a Roman general, let's have a little fun with what makes you brilliant. And, let's be honest, occasionally a bit much. Strengths: confident, strategic, and efficient. You walk into a room and people just know you're in charge. Heck, you probably had a game plan for today before your alarm went off. Strategy? It's your love language. Efficiency? You'd marry it if you could. Honestly, if world domination were a viable career path, you'd already have the t-shirts printed and a website up. Strong leadership and organizational skills? Herding cats? No problem. ENTJs can whip even the most chaotic groups into a well-oiled machine. You've got spreadsheets for days, contingency plans for your contingency plans, and a take-no-prisoners attitude that ensures results. You don't just lead, you inspire or scare people into following you. Either way, mission accomplished. Excellent at solving complex problems. ENTJs are the ones who see a tangled mess of wires and think, challenge accepted. Whether it's a business dilemma, a Sudoku puzzle, or figuring out how to load the dishwasher correctly, because yes, there's a correct way, you're all over it. Just try not to roll your eyes too hard when someone else's solution is to give up and order pizza. Challenges can be overly dominant or insensitive. Let's face it, subtlety isn't your strong suit. Why whisper when you can command? Why sugarcoat when you can be right? Unfortunately, your laser focus on winning can sometimes bulldoze the feelings of those around you. It's not your fault if people can't handle the truth, but, maybe try sprinkling in a little compassion now and then. Like salt, it goes a long way. Struggles with emotional nuances, feelings? What are those? ENTJs are like, is this emotion serving a purpose? No? Moving on. But sometimes life isn't about logic. It's about crying at puppy videos or listening to someone vent without solving their problems. Yes, it feels inefficient. Yes, it's awkward. But trust us, people will like you more if you just nod sympathetically and occasionally say, that must be hard. Tends to prioritize work over relationships. You know that saying, work to live, don't live to work? Yeah, you probably hate it. ENTJs can get so caught up in conquering the world that they forget to text their friends back or notice that their partner has been dropping hints about a date night for a week. Just remember, nobody wants to celebrate your victories with you if you forgot to invite them to the party. Final thoughts. Don't take this too seriously, Commander. Yes, you're a powerhouse. Yes, you're brilliant. But let's be real. The world doesn't always need a 5-year plan or a PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes it just needs you to chill out, laugh at yourself, and let someone else take the wheel, even if they drive horribly inefficiently. So go forth, ENTJ, and conquer. But maybe take a moment to enjoy the chaos you're so good at organizing. Who knows? You might even have fun. Ah, the ENTP. These folks are like the Swiss Army knife of personality types, full of sharp tools, endless versatility, and just a bit dangerous if you're not careful. Known for their quick minds and love of a good debate, ENTPs keep the world on its toes. Let's break it down, because if we don't, the ENTP will do it for us, and probably better. Strengths: quick-witted, curious, and energetic ENTPs are like mental caffeine. Sharp, buzzy, and always ready to jump into the fray. They can crack a joke, solve a problem, and question your entire life philosophy, all in the time it takes to order coffee. Their boundless curiosity ensures they're constantly learning, though that they might not remember how they ended up on a 3-hour rabbit hole about underwater basket weaving. Loves brainstorming and generating ideas. An ENTP's brain is a popcorn machine of ideas. Rapid, random, and surprisingly addictive. They love tossing concepts around like confetti, leaving everyone either dazzled or utterly confused, or both. Need an out-of-the-box idea? They've got a whole warehouse of them. Need them to pick just one? Good luck. Bold and thrives in debate, ENTPs don't just enjoy debates, they live for them. To them, arguing isn't personal. It's a sport, and they're gunning for gold. Whether it's politics, pizza toppings, or why pineapple does belong on pizza, they'll switch sides halfway through just to keep it spicy. ENTPs bring their A-game every time. Don't take it personally. They're just here to keep you on your toes. And let's be real, to win. Challenges may lack follow-through on projects, ENTPs are the world champions of starting projects they may or may not ever finish. They'll kick things off with fireworks, passion, and a million brilliant ideas. But then, ooh, shiny! Suddenly, they're off chasing a new idea or debating whether the first one was even worth it. It's not laziness, it's just that follow-through is boring. Routine schmoutine can come across as argumentative. ENTPs see debates as sparring matches. Others sometimes see them as full-blown battles. It's not their fault if their enthusiasm for dismantling your argument feels a bit aggressive. They're not trying to crush your soul. They just think spirited discussion is a love language. Pro tip: bring snacks and a sense of humor to the debate. You'll need both. Struggles with structure and routine. Telling an ENTP to stick to a rigid schedule is like telling a cat to fetch. They'll acknowledge your request, then do the exact opposite, just to prove a point. Structure feels like a cage to these free spirits, and routine is their sworn nemesis. Let them be chaotic. It's where their magic happens. Just maybe don't trust them to plan your wedding or balance your checkbook. Summary: NTPs are the life of the intellectual party. Brilliant, energetic, and always ready to shake things up. Sure, they might leave a few unfinished projects and bruised egos in their wake, but they mean well. If you're lucky enough to know an ENTP, embrace the chaos and don't take yourself too seriously. They certainly don't, and honestly, that's part of their charm. Life's too short to not argue about everything, right? ESFJ, the consul, the life of the party, and the cleanup crew. So, you're an ESFJ. Or maybe you just know one who's been voluntold to organize yet another office party. Either way, you're in for a treat. The ESFJ is the person who makes sure everyone feels seen, heard, and well-fed, all while stressing about whether the tablecloths match the napkins. They're the glue that holds a group together, often with a smile plastered on their face, even when they're about to drop from exhaustion. Let's dive into what makes these lovable social butterflies tick and twitch. Strengths: warm, caring, and sociable. Think of an ESFJ as the human version of a cozy blanket that also complements your shoes. They're the people who remember your favorite coffee order, check in when you're sick, and make you feel like the most interesting person in the room. Even if you're just droning on about your fantasy football league, ESFJs don't just want you to feel good, they want you to feel great. Real life: they're the friend who insists on driving you to the airport at 4 a.m., even though you didn't ask. Excellent at organizing and coordinating. When it comes to planning, ESFJs are like a walking Pinterest board. They've got spreadsheets for their spreadsheets, and you can bet they've color-coded them all. Need someone to wrangle a group of indecisive friends into choosing a dinner spot? Call your ESFJ. They'll have reservations and an itinerary ready faster than you can say group chat. Real life: they'll not only plan the potluck, but will bring backup plates and utensils just in case you forgot. Dedicated to harmony and helping others, ESFJs are the referees of life, minus the whistle and striped shirt. Although they'd rock those too. They can't stand drama, so they'll bend over backward to make sure everyone gets along. It's not just about peacekeeping, it's about making sure everyone feels happy. Sometimes they'll even sacrifice their own comfort to make it happen. Real life: they'll mediate a family argument at Thanksgiving while secretly wishing they could hide in the kitchen with the pie. Challenges: may struggle with conflict or criticism. For an ESFJ, criticism feels like a dagger straight to the perfectly curated heart. They hate conflict, which means they're likely to tiptoe around issues or sugarcoat their true feelings to keep the peace. And let's be honest, that kind of avoidance is just conflict on layaway. Example: they'd rather eat under-seasoned casserole at a dinner party than tell you it needs salt. Tends to prioritize others over themselves. Selflessness is great until you're too tired to enjoy the self-care bath you've been dreaming of for weeks. ESFJs are the ultimate givers, but sometimes they give so much they're running on fumes. They'll happily help everyone else pack their parachutes, but might forget their own. Example: they'll spend 3 hours crafting a heartfelt birthday card for a coworker, but can't remember the last time they took a day off. Can be overly concerned with appearances. Look, ESFJs just want to make a good impression. Is that a crime? They might spend a little too much energy worrying about how others see them. They're the kind of person who cleans their house before the cleaning service arrives or apologizes for crying at a funeral. Example: They'll insist the homemade cookies are nothing special, while secretly hoping you ask for the recipe. A word of advice, with love and laughter. Dear ESFJs, you're amazing. The world needs your warmth, your organization, and your uncanny ability to remember everyone's allergies. But take a break every now and then, okay? The party will still be fun, even if the streamers aren't perfectly symmetrical. And hey, it's okay to let someone else be the hero once in a while. Not every group needs a fearless leader. Sometimes they just need a nap buddy. To everyone else, hug your ESFJ. Tell them it's okay to leave the dishes until tomorrow. And for goodness sake, don't criticize their party playlist unless you're prepared to explain exactly why Dancing Queen doesn't belong on it. Let's sprinkle some humor on the ESFP personality and remind everyone to loosen up, because life's too short to not laugh at ourselves, even if you're an ESFP who might get distracted halfway through reading this. Here we go. Strengths of ESFP: outgoing, enthusiastic, and spontaneous. Picture this: a party where everyone's sitting around awkwardly until, bam, an ESFP bursts in with snacks, a playlist, and a Who Wants to Dance vibe. They don't just light up the room, they practically install a disco ball. ESFPs are the life of the party, even if it's a meeting. And they bring a spontaneity that keeps life exciting. Sure, they might forget the original reason they showed up, but hey, everyone's laughing now. Highly attuned to others' emotions, ESFPs are like emotional Wi-Fi routers. They pick up on your vibes without you even having to say a word. Feeling sad? They'll cheer you up. Celebrating something? They're already pouring the champagne. They know just how to dial into your feelings, which is great, though sometimes they might hijack your bad mood to remind you. But have you tried just being happy? Makes life exciting and enjoyable. Look, ESFPs could make a dentist appointment feel like a carnival. They've got a knack for finding joy anywhere, whether it's skydiving or just ordering the most ridiculous item on the menu. They'll remind you that life is supposed to be fun, and if it isn't, they'll fix it by dragging you out of your comfort zone, and maybe into a karaoke bar. Just roll with it. Challenges of ESFP: impulsive and easily bored. You know that friend who starts 10 hobbies in a week and somehow abandons them all by Friday? Yep, that's probably an ESFP. Patience isn't exactly their strong suit. They love chasing the next shiny thing, which is fun, until they realize they've committed to 3 road trips, a pottery class, and a spontaneous cross-country move. But hey, at least they've got stories. Can struggle with long-term commitments. ESFPs are like cats chasing laser pointers, totally invested in the now, but oh so distracted when something else catches their eye. It's not that they can't commit. They just sometimes forget they did. Long-term plans? Great. If they still sound fun tomorrow. Spoiler, they might not. But hey, life's an adventure, right? Let's just see where this goes. May avoid deep or difficult issues, confronting tough topics? No thanks. ESFPs would much rather focus on the bright side. Why have an awkward conversation when you could just laugh it off and suggest a round of mini golf? Sure, avoiding problems doesn't fix them, but denial can be fun. Pro tip, ESFPs. Occasionally, solving a problem feels good too, just saying. Conclusion: ESFPs are walking sunshine wrapped in confetti. They're here to remind us that life is for living, not worrying. Sure, they've got their quirks, like forgetting long-term plans or deciding to redecorate their apartment at 3 a.m. But they're too fun to stay mad at. So, if you're an ESFP, embrace your inner performer and keep making life an adventure. And for the rest of us, just try to keep up. You're in for a wild and hilarious ride. ESTJs are the go-getters of the personality world. The people who thrive on color-coded calendars, neatly stacked paperwork, and ensuring everything runs like a well-oiled machine. If life were a meeting, the ESTJ would not only call it to order, but also assign action items before you could sip your coffee. They're the heroes we need when chaos reigns. But, like the rest of us, they're not without their quirks. Let's dive into what makes an ESTJ tick. Strengths, challenges, and why it's okay for them and us to take a breather every now and then. Spoiler, nobody's going to die if we miss a deadline by 2 minutes. Strengths: organized, efficient, And responsible STJs can turn even the messiest situations into a model of order. If there's a lost sock, an ESTJ will find it, organize your closet, and lecture you on the importance of matching laundry. They're the person you want in charge when things are falling apart. Just don't expect them to let you forget that they saved the day. Repeatedly. Strong leadership skills. Leadership is ESTJ's bread and butter. They don't just manage people. They herd cats and make it look easy. Their confidence and ability to get others moving are legendary. Sure, you might hear, "I'll just do it myself," a bit too often. But hey, at least it gets done, right? Direct and goal-oriented. If you want someone to sugarcoat things, call literally anyone else. ESTJs say it like it is, and they won't waste your time doing it. This no-nonsense approach ensures that things get done efficiently. Who cares if your feelings got bruised in the process? You'll thank them later, probably. Challenges may come across as rigid or bossy. STJs believe in rules, structure, and, most importantly, their way. Their motto? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, why didn't you follow the procedure? While their confidence is admirable, it can make them come across as, well, the boss of everything, even if it's just the PTA bake sale. Do we really need a meeting about cookies, Karen? Struggles with emotional sensitivity STJs are great at fixing problems, except when the problem involves feelings. If you're looking for someone to hug it out, an ESTJ might awkwardly pat you on the back and suggest a to-do list to solve your heartbreak. Their emotional toolbox could use an upgrade, but hey, at least they care enough to try, even if it involves pie charts. Prefers tradition over innovation, "We've always done it this way," is an ESTJ mantra. While there's comfort in the familiar, sometimes ESTJs' love for the good old days can make them resistant to change. Innovation may terrify them, but hey, they'll warm up to it. Eventually, probably, after a meeting to discuss its feasibility. Tips for growth with a wink. Loosen up, just a bit. Not everything needs to be planned down to the last detail. Let life surprise you. No, that doesn't mean abandoning your calendar, just leaving a little room for spontaneous fun. Yes, you can schedule it. Feel the feels, take a deep breath, and step into the emotional unknown. You don't need to solve everyone's problems, but sometimes just listening, without suggesting a PowerPoint presentation, is enough. Bonus points if you hand them tissues and let them cry in peace. Dabble in the new. A tradition is comforting, but so is Wi-Fi. Experiment with new ideas and approaches. It won't hurt, we promise. Maybe that wild idea from your free-spirited coworker is actually worth a shot. At the very least, you'll have an entertaining story to tell. Final thought, ESTJs, you're amazing. Seriously, the world would fall apart without you. But remember, it's okay to laugh at yourself every once in a while. Not everything is a crisis, and not every crisis needs a 10-step plan. Sometimes the best leadership is letting loose, admitting you don't have all the answers, and laughing with the rest of us. Life's too short to micromanage it. ESTPs are the go-getters, the doers, the hold my drink and watch this champions of the personality world. If life's a stage, they're the headliners, and probably the ones who've turned the script into an improv comedy. They live for the thrill, charm everyone they meet, and somehow manage to come out of their wild adventures, mostly unscathed. Strengths energetic, bold, and action-oriented ESTPs have energy levels that make caffeine jealous. They don't just dip their toes into life, they cannonball into the deep end, splashing everyone with their enthusiasm. If you need someone to start a dance party, spark a revolution, or just make Monday feel a little less like a black hole, call an ESTP. Thrives in high-pressure situations, deadlines. Drama? Total chaos? ESTPs are like, finally, a challenge. They're the people you want in your corner when everything's on fire, metaphorically, usually. While others are panicking, ESTPs are already on Plan C. Plan A and B were too boring. Excellent people skills and charm. If charisma were a currency, ESTPs would be billionaires. They can talk their way out of trouble, into exclusive clubs, or straight to the front of the line. They've got jokes, stories, and just enough audacity to make you laugh even when you're mad at them. Challenges, impulsive, and risk-prone ESTPs have two speeds. Go big and, what's a break? They're the first to say, this will totally work, and the last to notice it's not working. Risks are fun until they're not. But hey, they've got the confidence to figure it out on the fly. May neglect long-term consequences. ESTPs live in the moment. Because why think about future you when right now you is having a blast? That's tomorrow's problem, right? Spoiler, tomorrow you might be exhausted and broke. Struggles with structure or planning. Structure? Sounds like a buzzkill to an ESTP. Why follow a boring map when you can blaze your own trail? Sure, it's the scenic route, with occasional detours into oops. But at least it's exciting. Schedules are for people who enjoy Excel spreadsheets, not ESTPs. In summary, being an ESTP is like being the human version of a roller coaster. Thrilling, unpredictable, and occasionally terrifying. They're here for the ride, not the seatbelts. And they remind the rest of us to loosen up and enjoy the chaos of life. Sure, they could work on slowing down and thinking ahead sometimes. But honestly, that's what friends and reminders on their phone are for. So, if you're an ESTP or no one, take a cue from their playbook. Don't take life, or yourself, too seriously. And when in doubt, remember their motto, YOLO, but make it fun. INFJs, lovingly dubbed the advocates, are the unicorns of the personality world. Idealistic, insightful, and determined to save the world, or at least improve it. They're the kind of people who can spot your existential crisis a mile away, give you life-changing advice, and still be home in time to stress about their own existence. But hey, nobody's perfect, right? Let's break down the magic and occasional chaos of the INFJ with a lighthearted twist. Strengths of INFJs, insightful and visionary. INFJs can see what others miss, like emotional ninjas. They have a sixth sense for understanding people, situations, and long-term outcomes. They're the ones who nod thoughtfully in meetings and say something so profound that everyone else looks like they just got hit by a truth bomb. But remember, even a great visionary needs to take a break. Prophecy is exhausting, deeply empathetic and altruistic. If empathy were a superpower, INFJs would be in the Avengers. They can feel your feelings before you even know what you're feeling, but don't mistake this for weakness. INFJs might be compassionate, but they also have a steely resolve when fighting for what's right. Just don't ask them to choose between saving a stray puppy and planting a tree. They'll probably try to do both at the same time and then need a week to recover. Highly organized and focused on meaningful goals, INFJs don't just dream big. They make spreadsheets about their dreams. They're like the love child of a motivational speaker and an event planner. While others are still deciding what to eat for lunch, INFJs are out there designing 5-year plans for personal growth, global harmony, and maybe even learning to bake sourdough. Okay, let's be real, they'll still overthink the sourdough. Challenges of INFJs, perfectionistic and idealistic. For INFJs, good enough is rarely good enough. They want the perfect outcome, the perfect solution, and sometimes the perfect excuse to avoid karaoke night. But here's the kicker. Perfection doesn't exist, not even in their planner. Learning to embrace a little messiness can go a long way. And hey, nobody's judging your slightly off-center vision board. Tends to overextend themselves. Emotionally, INFJs are the emotional equivalent of a sponge. They soak up everyone else's worries, tears, and existential dread. But just like a sponge, they need to wring themselves out once in a while. Pro tip, it's okay to say no sometimes. You can't pour from an empty cup, especially if you've already loaned the cup to someone else who needed it more. May struggle with self-doubt. You'd think someone so insightful and wise would have unshakable confidence, right? Wrong. ENFJs are pros at doubting themselves, whether it's about their career, relationships, or whether they overwatered their plants. Spoiler, they probably did. The key is learning to laugh at those doubts and remind themselves they're doing just fine, even if their houseplants disagree. Final thoughts for INFJs and everyone else, honestly. Dear INFJs, remember that life is messy, people are unpredictable, and sometimes it's okay to ditch your world-saving plans for a Netflix binge. Embrace imperfection, laugh at your quirks, and don't forget to take care of yourself. After all, even the most magical unicorns need a break. And maybe some pizza. The INTJ, often called the mastermind, a title that sounds like it belongs to a Bond villain or someone plotting world domination from their secret lair. Don't deny it, you've thought about it. These cerebral juggernauts are known for their laser-focused minds, strategic brilliance, and ability to make 12-step plans for everything, including breakfast. But as mighty as the INTJ brainpower is, it comes with its quirks. Let's dive in with a splash of humor and a reminder that, hey, life's too short to take yourself that seriously. Strengths of INTJ. Strategic and forward-thinking. INTJs are basically the chess grandmasters of life. While everyone else is playing checkers, they're 3 moves ahead, wondering why nobody else brought a strategy guide. They've got plans for their career, relationships, retirement, and the apocalypse, just in case. This is the friend you want when you're trying to figure out how to win an argument or survive a zombie outbreak. Highly independent and self-confident, INTJs don't need your approval. They've already done the cost-benefit analysis and decided they're awesome. They work best when left alone with their thoughts, spreadsheets, and existential musings about how the world could be optimized. If you're looking for someone to join your pity party, don't bother inviting an INTJ. They're too busy being self-sufficient and probably rolling their eyes. Skilled at solving complex problems, INTJs love a good puzzle. Whether it's fixing a broken system or figuring out why your Wi-Fi is slower than a snail in molasses, they're on it. Just don't expect small talk or hand-holding during the process. They'll solve your problem, but probably make you feel a little dumb for not seeing the solution yourself. Challenges of INTJs may come across as cold or arrogant. Let's face it, INTJs can sometimes feel like a walking Wikipedia page, dispensing knowledge whether you asked for it or not. Their just the facts approach can make them seem as warm and fuzzy as a steel beam. But hey, it's not arrogance if you're actually right? Pro tip, smile occasionally. It won't kill you. Probably. Can struggle with emotional expression. INTJs and feelings. It's complicated. While the T are busy calculating the trajectory of their next success, someone's over here crying about a sad movie, and the INTJ is like, wait, is this us? A bonding moment? What do I do with my hands? They care deeply, but expressing it often feels like trying to explain calculus to a cat. Perfectionism and impatience with inefficiency, if good enough, makes INTJs cringe. We've always done it this way, sends them into an existential spiral. INTJs have a low tolerance for nonsense, inefficiency, or winging it. If you're dragging your feet or producing subpar work, they'll give you a look so icy, you'll question all your life choices. But seriously, folks, done is better than perfect sometimes. Consider this your reminder to chill. INTJs. Embrace the human side. Look, INTJs, we get it. You're brilliant. But life isn't just a giant spreadsheet where you optimize every variable. Let loose once in a while. Laugh at your mistakes. Yes, you do make them. And maybe let someone else take the lead for a change. Build relationships not because they're useful, but because having a pizza night and laughing till your sides hurt is just as important as solving the world's problems. And for everyone else, be kind to your resident INTJ. Sure, they may seem like a walking TED Talk, but underneath that steely exterior is someone who truly wants to make the world a better place, even if it means occasionally plotting your to-do list for you. The INTP, affectionately known as the thinker, or sometimes the overthinker, is the brainiac of the personality world. If you've ever seen someone stare at a wall for 3 hours and come away with a brilliant idea for a time machine that they'll never actually build, you've likely spotted an INTP in the wild. Let's break them down, lightly and with a good-natured chuckle. Strengths, analytical, and inventive, INTPs are the people who solve problems no one else even knew existed. Seriously, who needs a toaster that texts you when your toast is ready? Probably no one. But an INTP might invent it anyway, just because they can. Their brain is a non-stop factory of ideas, some of which are genius. Others, well, let's just say, interesting. Love solving theoretical problems. Practical problems? Meh. Theoretical ones? Bring it on. INTPs are in their element, pondering deep questions like, What is consciousness? Or can pineapples have feelings? They'll spend hours debating these topics, even if the end result is nothing more than a headache for everyone else involved. But hey, it's the journey that counts, right? Independent and curious INTPs are the curious cats of the MBTI, minus the whole 9 lives thing. They prefer their risks theoretical. They'll dive headfirst into obscure rabbit holes, quantum physics, medieval armor, or the mating habits of deep-sea squid. Just because it's fascinating, don't try to tell them what to do. They're busy redefining the universe on their own terms. Thank you very much. Challenges: difficulty expressing emotions or connecting socially. NTPs are about as emotionally expressive as a brick wall, but that doesn't mean they don't care. They do. They're just more likely to write you a 17-page essay on why they care instead of giving you a hug. And small talk? Forget it. If you ask how their day was, prepare for an existential monologue about the futility of time. May procrastinate or overanalyze. ENTPs have mastered the fine art of procrastination. Need that report by Friday? Don't worry, it'll be done at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. And overanalyzing? Oh, that's their sport. They can spend more time choosing the perfect font for their notes than actually taking them. Efficiency isn't their forte, but hey, they'll get there eventually. Probably. Struggles with routine tasks. Repetitive tasks are an INTP's kryptonite. Laundry? Boring. Cleaning? Yawn. Filling out forms? Pure torture. They'd rather be contemplating the mysteries of the universe than figuring out where the vacuum cleaner is. But who needs a spotless house when your brain is a cathedral of ideas, right? A note to INTPs and their friends. Dear INTPs, you're brilliant, quirky, and endlessly fascinating. But let's face it, you're also a bit of a lovable mess. And that's okay. Not everything in life has to be an unsolvable equation or a philosophical debate. Sometimes you just need to take a deep breath, fold your laundry, and tell your friends you care without citing the Oxford English Dictionary. To everyone else, be patient with your INTPs. They're not ignoring you. They're probably lost in a thought experiment about whether dragons could evolve wings in low-gravity environments. If you can't beat them, join them. Just don't ask them to explain their process. It'll take hours. Remember, life is weird and messy, and so are INTPs. Embrace it. All love. If you're an ISFJ, congratulations. You're the human equivalent of a warm, fuzzy blanket that also happens to have an impeccable memory for birthdays. You're basically everyone's emotional support system, and for that, we applaud you. Let's dive into what makes you awesome and what might make you cry into a tub of ice cream. It's okay, we all do it. Strengths of ISFJ: the protector, warm, empathetic, and supportive. AKA the walking hug. You've probably been described as the nicest person I know, and you might even blush a little reading that. You're the one people call when they need a pep talk, a shoulder to cry on, or someone to help assemble IKEA furniture without judging their life choices. Basically, you make people feel like they're starring in their own Hallmark movie, and you're the secret sauce behind the happy ending. Hardworking and dedicated to helping others. Seriously, take a break. When you commit, you commit. Whether it's baking cookies for the office or running a charity event, you're all in. But let's be real, sometimes people take advantage of your helpfulness. Remember, it's okay to let someone else bring the store-bought cupcakes for once. Great memory for personal details and traditions. The family historian. If someone mentions they like pumpkin spice lattes, you'll remember it forever and show up with one on their birthday, and probably a card with a heartfelt message. Also, if there's a family recipe or a holiday tradition, you're the one keeping it alive. Without you, Thanksgiving would be chaos, and nobody would remember Aunt Marge's cranberry sauce. Challenges of ISFJ: the protector may prioritize others' needs over their own, professional people pleaser. You've probably skipped a meal or a nap just to help someone move or proofread their resume. Spoiler alert, you can't pour from an empty cup. Next time someone says, "Can you just do one more thing for me?" Practice saying, "Sorry, I'm busy binge-watching my own life needs attention." Can be overly sensitive to criticism. Wear a helmet, it's fine. Let's face it, someone once said, "This could be better," and you thought about it for 3 days. Here's the thing, nobody's perfect, yes, even you. And criticism doesn't mean you're a failure. Think of it as constructive feedback. Or just laugh it off like the fearless legend you are. Reluctant to embrace change. Comfort zone connoisseur. Change? No thanks. You're good with the same grocery store, same routine, and same brand of laundry detergent you've used for 10 years. But hey, life's an adventure. Try shaking things up every once in a while. You might find out you like oat milk lattes, or that skydiving isn't as terrifying as it sounds. Okay, maybe not skydiving, baby steps. Final thoughts, with a smile. Dear ISFJ, you're a gift to humanity, a delightful mix of kindness, dedication, and a tiny sprinkle of self-doubt. But here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect. Forget the critics, embrace the chaos of change, and for the love of all things holy, remember to take care of yourself. The world needs you, but it doesn't need you burned out and cranky. So go forth, laugh at your quirks, and maybe let someone else handle Thanksgiving this year. The ISFP personality, affectionately nicknamed the Composer, is a walking masterpiece of creativity, sensitivity, and maybe just a little chaos. These people aren't here for spreadsheets and boardroom power plays. They're here to turn life into an art exhibit and remind everyone to stop and smell the roses, or whatever scent is wafting by. So what makes ISFPs tick? Let's dive in, but don't forget to laugh at yourself along the way. Strengths, creative, and artistic ESFPs are basically the friend you call when your life needs a makeover. Want to redecorate your room? Need a song to match your mood? Boom! The ISFPs got you. They'll find beauty in everything, from sunsets to the way you burn your toast just right. And if you're thinking, I'm not creative enough to be an ISFP, relax. You don't have to paint like Van Gogh. Your art might just be arranging your snacks in rainbow order. Kind-hearted and gentle, these folks are the human equivalent of a warm hug. They're the people who'll rescue a spider from your bathroom instead of squishing it, and probably apologize to the spider for the inconvenience. ISFPs care, and not in a loud, look at me being nice way, but in a quiet, I baked you cookies because I thought you might be having a rough week way. They're so kind-hearted that even their bad moods are polite, lives in the moment and values. Beauty ISFPs are pros at stopping to appreciate the little things. They'll admire the light hitting a coffee cup like it's a scene out of a movie, while the rest of us are just trying to get caffeine into our veins. Sure, they may forget their keys sometimes because they were busy staring at a tree. But hey, priorities. Life's too short not to savor it, right? Challenges may avoid conflict at all costs. SFPs are the ultimate, let's just pretend everything's fine people. Got an argument brewing? They'll be hiding in a blanket fort until it's over. While this is endearing, it's not always practical. Conflict avoidance can lead to unresolved issues. Or worse, the ISFP finally exploding like a gentle volcano. Think lava with sparkles. Struggles with self-discipline and planning ahead? For ISFPs, that's like trying to catch a butterfly with chopsticks. Possible, but not their favorite pastime. They're the ones saying, deadlines are just suggestions, right? They might forget appointments or procrastinate, but don't worry, they'll show up eventually. Probably with a cool excuse involving inspiration striking at an inconvenient time. Can be overly self-critical ISFPs are their own worst critics. Forget imposter syndrome. ISFPs are living with a full-blown artist doubt extravaganza. They'll pour their heart into something and then decide it's not good enough, even if everyone else is blown away. It's like they're allergic to compliments. Seriously, just take the compliment, ISFP. Life advice for ISFPs, and anyone really. Embrace the mess. Life isn't meant to be perfectly planned or Instagram-worthy. Sometimes it's okay to be late, drop the ball, or eat ice cream for dinner. Say what's on your mind, nicely. Avoiding conflict doesn't make problems disappear. Tactful honesty can save you a lot of stress. Celebrate imperfection. You don't need to be the next Picasso or Beethoven. But if you are, we're rooting for you. Your value isn't tied to your achievements. It's about how you make others feel. In conclusion, dear ISFPs, you're basically the whimsical poets of the personality world. You make life feel a little more magical. And while you may have a few quirks, who doesn't? Lean into your strengths, laugh at your slip-ups, and remember, nobody's perfect, but you're pretty close when you're being your authentically messy, beautiful self. ISTJ, the inspector. A quirky dive into your reliable, rule-loving soul. Congratulations, ISTJ. You're the dependable human blueprint of order and responsibility that the rest of us secretly wish we could be, but definitely don't want to work that hard to become. Let's talk about your strengths, challenges, and the quirks that make you wonderfully you, all while making sure you don't take yourself too seriously. Because let's face it, ISTJs, sometimes even your spreadsheets could use a little jazz. Strengths: reliable, organized, and practical, aka the MVP of adulting. You're the kind of person people trust to watch their plants, pets, and possibly their entire bank account. Why? Because you've got things under control. Always. Need a 10-year plan? You've already made 3 backup versions. But hey, ISTJ, we all love that you can keep a meeting running like clockwork, even if the rest of us are just there for the free snacks. Detail-oriented and responsible, the Sherlock Holmes of everyday life. You notice everything. That missing comma in the presentation? Fixed it. A typo in the restaurant menu? You saw it before the waiter even said specials. Responsibility is your middle name. Seriously, you'd probably take responsibility for global warming if no one else stepped up. But relax, it's not all on you. Strong sense of duty and loyalty, the human golden retriever. When you commit, you're all in. You're the one who remembers Aunt Linda's birthday and shows up on time for everything, even Zoom calls. Your loyalty? Next level. If ISTJs were in charge of relationships, ghosting wouldn't exist, and traditions would be celebrated forever. Challenges can be inflexible and resistant to change. Routines are your jam, and that's okay-ish. You've got a routine, and it's sacred. Change is like a pop quiz for you, totally unnecessary and slightly offensive. But here's the thing, sometimes life does go off the rails, and no amount of color-coded calendars will fix it. Loosen up! A little chaos might even be fun? Yes, really! May struggle to express emotions. Feelings? Do I need a chart for that? Look, we get it. Feelings are messy, and they don't come with bullet points. But even if you'd rather file emotions away in a mental cabinet, sometimes people just need a hug, or a "you're doing great," or even a heartfelt grunt. Pro tip: the occasional smile won't kill you. Promise. Tends to be overly critical of themselves and others. Perfectionism is exhausting, dude. You've got high standards. For yourself, for others, for the universe. But newsflash, none of us, including you, are ever going to get it all right. Lighten up. Not every grocery run needs to feel like a military operation. Cut yourself and the rest of us some slack. Growth tips for the rule-loving, order enthusiast. ISTJ, learn to bend a little. Routines are great, but life isn't a PowerPoint. Try saying yes to something spontaneous, like karaoke or eating dessert before dinner. Scary? Yes. Rewarding? Also yes. Get in touch with your inner marshmallow. Softening up and sharing your feelings can make you more relatable. People don't need perfection, they need connection. Laugh at your mistakes. Yes, you make them. Forgot an appointment? Burnt the toast? Laugh it off. Nobody expects you to be flawless, except you. Find joy in chaos. Not everything needs a system. Sometimes a little unplanned silliness, red, dancing in your kitchen, can remind you that life's not all about duty. Final thoughts. Look, ISTJs, the world needs your structure and practicality. But every now and then, try embracing the weird, messy, imperfect side of life. We promise, it won't destroy your to-do list. Probably.
Lucy!
ISTPs are the doers, the tinkerers, the "I don't need instructions, I'll just wing it" type of personalities. They thrive on practicality and action, solving problems in ways that make the rest of us feel wildly inadequate. But hey, nobody's perfect. So let's break down their strengths and challenges with a dose of humor and a reminder to laugh at our quirks. Strengths of ISTP: practical and resourceful problem solvers. ISTPs can fix almost anything. Your sink is leaking? They'll have it patched up with duct tape and sheer genius. Got a flat tire? They've already got the jack out. But the best part? They'll make it look effortless while the rest of us are still Googling how to use a wrench. Why it's awesome. They're basically walking Swiss Army knives. Why it's hilarious. Don't expect them to explain how they did it. Their answer will be something like, I don't know, it just made sense. Adaptable and spontaneous, STPs roll with the punches, whether it's a last-minute road trip or a sudden zombie in apocalypse. They'd probably enjoy the latter more. They're the friends who shrug and say, "Sure, let's do it," even if it is bungee jumping off a sketchy bridge. Why it's awesome. Life is an adventure, and ISTPs are here for the ride. Die. Why it's hilarious. Their plans are usually made 5 seconds before execution, and somehow they work out better than your color-coded itinerary. Calm and compose under pressure. When chaos strikes, ISTPs don't freak out. They fix it. Lost your passport? They'll MacGyver a solution. House on fire? They'll calmly grab the extinguisher, or at least save the snacks. Their zen-like ability to stay chill under pressure makes the rest of us look like headless chickens. And why it's awesome. They're the person you want around in a crisis. Or, let's be honest, when your Wi-Fi goes out. Doris. Why it's hilarious. While you're spiraling, they're just like, relax, it's not rocket science. Unless it is rocket science. Challenges of ISTPs may appear aloof or detached. Let's be real. ISTPs aren't winning any most emotionally available awards. They're not cold. They're just selective about emotional output. While you're pouring your heart out, they might be nodding while secretly wondering if they left their toolkit in the car. Why it's a problem, people might think they don't care. They do, they just don't show it with hugs and emojis. Funny fix, start small. Maybe throw in a "that sucks" or an occasional fist bump to keep people guessing. Difficulty with long-term planning. STPs are fantastic in the moment, but planning a 5-year strategy? Not their thing. They're more likely to say, "Let's deal with that when we get there," which is great until you realize there is retirement and you have no savings plan. Why it's a problem. Sometimes life requires a little foresight, like, rent and groceries. Teen, funny fix, partner up with a planner type, an ISTJ perhaps, and let them nag you into making a budget. Or just keep winging it. It's worked so far, right? Struggles to communicate emotions effectively. ISTPs aren't the "let's talk about our feelings" type. They're more "I fixed your sink, that's my love language." If you're expecting poetry or heartfelt speeches, well, good luck with that. That's why it's a problem. Loved ones might think, do they care? Spoiler, they do. They just think fixing your car is better than saying "I love you." So, funny fix. Use metaphors they'll understand. Your ability to unclog drains is the metaphorical key to my heart. Final thoughts. Dear ISTPs, you're the action heroes of personality types, the quiet fixers, and the unflappable badasses who somehow make it all work. Sure, you've got your quirks, don't we all? Life's too short to stress about long-term plans or perfect emotional vulnerability. Lean into what makes you awesome, laugh at what doesn't, and keep being the go-to problem solvers we all wish we could be.
All right, everyone! Group photo time! Line up!
Everyone, alphabetical order! Quickly now! Or, what if we do it by height? No, wait, by hair color. No, wait.
Why are we even doing this? No one will care about this photo in the long term.
But it's about the memory, not the logic. Isn't that beautiful?
I don't care as long as I look good.
Same. Wait, is my glitter popping in this lighting?
Can we just follow the rules? Alphabetical order makes the most sense.
Fine, but someone put me front and center where I belong.
I had a dream about this exact moment last week.
This thing is on, right?
What if we all did silly faces? Or coordinated poses? Or wait.
Everyone, please listen to ESTJ. They're trying their best, okay?
Here, this might help.
Actually, I made a diagram to optimize this photo setup.
Okay, people, deep breath. Let's do this for the vibes.
Let's be honest, the real personality test is figuring out who still isn't looking at the lens.